television.
Oh, wow.
So you can watch this momentous meeting.
CBS News.
I'm Linda Bush, the vice chair of the committee. In the absence of our chair, I'll be chairing the meeting. Obviously, there's no one here for the public comment, public speak, other than the applicant. Okay, so we go to the approval of the minutes of June 9th, 2016, which Jamie sent out, I think, on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Second.
June 9th.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, request for comments from other boards and commissions. Jamie just handed me a referral from the Planning Commission for a special permit and setback waiver for a large solar energy facility, which looks to be located at 198 Park Street. And what is oh, there's a map. Is this Williston's property?
Yeah, they just bought the land.
Okay. Well, we'll postpone that until the end to see if anybody has any comments on that. We can pass it around and.
Other just quick administrative stuff. September 8th is our next scheduled CPA meeting, but it's a state primary, and we cannot have any public hearings on days of elections. So, seeing as the CPA only has public hearings, we need to find another time to meet. So we can either do that now or at the end of it, later in the meeting.
Does anyone, do you have a suggestion?
I would think it's better to go the week earlier.
Yeah.
Than just to go earlier. It's hard with the applications when people are told that they need to submit to move it forward, and then all of a sudden the application deadlines get left up.
Right.
I thought elections were usually on Tuesdays.
Generally they are.
So this is a fluke, okay. So September 15th is a suggested date?
Yeah, that would be the next Thursday.
I'm sorry, that's the CPA meets that day, and I have this. But we could do it on the Tuesday before
The 13th.
the 13th, if that works.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay.
I can do that 13th.
Tuesday, September 13th.
13th. Okay, and someone will let John know?
I will send out a reminder and check in with everyone that we get at least 5.
Okay, public hearing, Cheryl Kennedy, 159 Main Street, seeking a special permit to operate a bed and breakfast. Would you like to present your case?
Sure. Hi.
Hi.
I was thinking about doing Airbnb in my house, like it's the thing to do now. I have a space on the first floor, which I used for my massage practice, and I'm not using that room anymore. And so I thought, okay, I'll make it into an Airbnb. And so I was filling out the application, and it kept popping up saying, please check with your town, please check with your town. So I checked with my town, so that's how I'm here. And there is a little bit of a conflict in what I applied for was because I went to see the health agent, and the assistant was there, Jackie, her assistant was there, and she said, it might be easier for you if you don't serve any food. And we thought, well, that's okay, and then we came up with this idea to give gift certificates of different places in town, because we live right on 159 Main Street, and they can walk to Silver Spoon, and they can walk to Small Oven, and and so we could offer it, and they said you can't even pour a cup of coffee for anybody unless you have, unless you have a
Safe kitchen.
a safe kitchen permit. And so we said, okay. So when we filled this out, we thought we couldn't serve food. And then we found out that that you only can get a permit for a bed and breakfast if you serve breakfast. So then I talked with Jackie Duda, and she said, oh, it's not that hard to, and there's 2 different kinds. And if you want to just have a continental breakfast, I go over and look at your kitchen and we work together and then you're all set. And we said, well, that would be great. And so that's what we'd like to do. The house historically, I bought the house back in 03, and the house had a frame shop in it, and also I had a business giving massage therapy there. And the parking is the same parking that we have now, and right now there's just Steve and I living in the house. So there's parking in the front for 3 cars easily, 3 SUVs, and there's comfortable parking for 4 cars in the back.
Mhm.
My neighbor has requested, Jerry Fix, that we don't use the back for anybody other than residential people, which would be fine, because we're only looking to have 1 room
Mhm.
for the B&B. And we would like to have a sign, and we understand that the sign has to be, we understand the size of the sign, very
Mhm.
small. And we would like to have the permit for this be able to be transferable if we sell the house, just as it is now, with the sign and just with the 1 room for the B&B. In case we wanted to sell it to our family, or if the business is doing well, and we would like it to be able to go with the house. And
Okay.
that's what we're looking for.
Is having a Keurig considered, you have to have a safe kitchen? I mean, that I don't understand, the pod coffee things that you could put in. the
I know,
phone?
I asked her about that, you're right. Well, what we
And a
have.
package of Twinkies or something.
Yes, and
I
that's
don't-
what we were thinking
I-
of, and I think that they said, you wouldn't, well, maybe that, because you didn't open it or anything, that you could do that, but the thing is that, if a B&B is breakfast and bed, so, a room is a room. And so technically, you don't have a permit to rent a room. A room would be like a roommate, but this would be like a bed and breakfast,
I
yeah.
think the basic and like the lowest level, like for safe kitchen, is actually not particularly onerous or intrusive, like the level to like be
Yeah, I
able to
think
do
that's
the
what
most
she
basic
said
stuff.
that Jackie told her.
Yeah, and that's-
Jackie said.
Yeah,
But I don't have a problem, I think having a Keurig or coffee there
Yeah.
would make it having breakfast, but I think the gift card at a neighborhood restaurant would make it
Mhm.
unique.
yeah, yeah.
So maybe both, but I don't have a problem with the breakfast part. I don't know if anybody here has a problem with the breakfast part.
I mean, I think if you do the gift card, I mean, I assume this is the reason why you were thinking to do the other part, is because then you fall into the breakfast is included in the rent. Like, you're providing a way of getting breakfast for the
Right.
price of the room.
Right,
And I think, a literal reading of the zoning ordinance, of like that definition is satisfied, as long as they're not paying separately for breakfast.
mhm,
So that, that part doesn't concern me.
mhm.
Jamie made a comment, technical comments about the parking spaces in the front.
Mhm.
And I'm assuming that if they were a zoning violation, like
Mhm.
if they were put in after that, because we don't permit parking in the front yard, although if I park in my driveway, I'm parking in my front yard.
It's different
Right.
for residential versus, this is specifically called out before the bed and breakfast or permit.
Oh, it is, see, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, in the table of uses,
Yep, I didn't go 5, whatever. Okay, so but it's an existing,
Mhm.
to me, it's an existing nonconformity. I mean, the parking is already there.
Right,
And I went into your backyard, and I can see why your neighbors don't want strangers parking in the back there.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure there's a way to get in and out easily if you're familiar with it, but
Mhm.
I wasn't, and there was a vehicle in the middle of the driveway, and I think I had to turn around slightly in their driveway in order to turn around and
oh,
get out.
right. And actually, our neighbor parks often in our driveway in the back. And, he has family that comes and they park in there, or they use the driveway to turn around, so, yeah.
But it's not your normal
No, it isn't, and actually, there's plenty of parking in the front, so even if somebody is staying there and they have friends meeting them or whatever, there's parking on the street.
Oh, you're right, I missed that. It states, adequate parking must be provided. Parking spaces for the use or single-family dwelling cannot be located in the front yard requirement. See, I was thinking that the parking was existing non-conforming, so it didn't matter that it was in the front yard.
Well, what about the spot that's on the side of the house? I mean, here's the picture, I don't know, you probably have the picture there, but here's a picture of 3 cars in the driveway, there's one on the side and then 2 in the front.
And you can get to the parking in the back with the car there.
Mhm.
Okay, then I don't have a problem considering that's the parking space for the B and B. If they choose to use the other ones, fine, but you have parking that's not in the front yard.
It's a good one.
Yeah, maybe this is.
Because the issue is that the backyard of your house essentially feels like the front yard of the house behind. Is that sort
Yeah.
of the concern? Okay.
Well, I'll show you
And
the
there is a
backyard.
parking lot back there.
Yeah,
Right.
I just like, it's hard to tell from the pictures exactly what.
You know, there were 2 businesses before and there was not a problem.
But because the B and B says specifically
Oh, right.
that, I don't have a problem considering that not in the front yard, it's not even in front of the house.
Okay, now this is the backyard, and that's the car that is parked in front, and that's the right of way there.
Is that like a entrance to like a garage, like a basement, but it's like garage size? Is that what that is back there?
That's the garage.
Oh, it is a garage.
And you
So
can
oriented,
see,
so this is your neighbor? No, this
no,
is.
my neighbor's
here's
right
over-
right here.
Right there.
Yeah.
So the driveway would be like over on the other side of the bush. We're just
So
gonna
this
see.
is a driveway right here that goes into the garage in the
Mhm.
back, and there's enough for, I would say there's enough for 4 cars.
There was a vehicle parked there, so I couldn't
Oh,
pull
okay, you
in,
can
right in the
see.
middle.
Okay. Yeah,
But this car is that one right
Right.
there.
yeah.
So is this,
So how do you get around?
There's a driveway right here.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a shared driveway, they share a driveway
yeah.
with the house in the back.
Right, it's
Okay.
right away,
I see.
right.
So they're concerned about people coming in, parking and blocking their driveway.
Well,
And
I
also
think
the-
that they just want to make sure, I think he probably just wants to make sure that he can turn around in my driveway, or that, you know,
Uh-huh.
because of where his house is, you
Right.
know.
It's not your normal turnaround. I can see them objecting to strangers
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
parking back there and not
Yeah.
knowing where
Yeah.
the property lines are
Right.
and,
yeah, 'cause see, his house is like right here.
Mhm.
And he has like a spot right here, but it's kind of hard to move around, so he pulls in here and parks sometimes, or his family does.
Mhm.
He's got a big garage right here, a huge garage. And then that's the right of way that goes around and out. But this driveway right here, let's see if I can find another picture. Yeah, see, this driveway, you can see his house in the back there.
Right.
And this driveway right here,
Where the red van is.
where the red van is a parking space, and then over here is the right
Is
of
the-
way.
okay.
Yeah, there's
Just
plenty of.
pass it down
yeah.
so that.
That's the shared driveway, right?
Where the
Yeah.
red, so is it where the red van is parked as part of the driveway, or it's like a separate?
It's a separate,
spot?
it's a
Oh,
separate
it's
spot.
here, in this picture.
It's a completely
Right, I
separate
see.
spot.
Yeah, in this picture I can see it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a funny place for a house.
I know.
Right
Well, he just
there.
had to hook up to the town, because he has a leach field back there. and,
Yeah.
they had a lot. I don't know how maybe it was the cottage or something that belonged to that. I don't know the history of that house or how it even was able to be built back there.
Okay.
Grandfathering.
Yeah.
The front setback is only 15 feet. If that matters.
The front setback for the house.
The front setback is 15 feet, and the little reading of that ordinance says no parking in
The front yard requirement, which
Requirement.
suggested it's just the setback area.
So it might just be the first
Okay.
one or two spots
Well,
closest.
they do
to
have
the
a
street.
parking space not in the front yard for
Right.
the room.
Right.
And it also says, the rooming units must share a common entrance for the single-family dwelling. So if I went in your front door, I could get to this room.
Yes.
I wouldn't have to come in your front door, but I
No.
could go in your front
Right,
door.
right.
Because it has a separate.
Right, and you can see that this has, this is the room, and there is a separate door, which would be this door here. It was actually originally a doctor's office.
Uh-huh.
And, so they would have a private door to go in and a private bath, and see there's a little refrigerator and a microwave there, and that kind of thing. It's really nice. So you can see the bathroom is off of that. And then there's an entranceway here that goes into a dining room. And then from this bathroom, it goes into our kitchen. So they could come in that way too, you know.
But so when they,
It's on the
when the
first
first time they come, they're gonna go to your front door and ring your bell,
Yeah,
because
oh,
that's.
yeah, absolutely.
And then you'll take them into the room, and then
Right.
if they wanna go in and out their private entrance, that's
Well,
fine.
you know, we're friendly people. I mean, hopefully we'll get to know, it'll be a nice little business where you get to meet people and, you know, and make them feel comfortable. And, you know, Williston is right down the road from us, and there's a lot of businesses around now, so, you know. And we're hoping to offset, I mean, this is a big, money pit, you know?
Taxes, right?
Yeah, well, not just that, but it needs to be painted and
Yeah,
everything that needs to be done on it is a
Right.
lot of money.
Yeah.
So, you know, just to be able to stay in the house. And I just bought the house in '03, so I do still have a mortgage on it, you know, so I'm just trying to stay in the house. So, and,
That's a big house.
it is a big house.
I have one other question, and I know the answer is in here, as you mentioned having it go with the land. And for some reason in here, I thought that it had to go with the land owner, or am I wrong?
All of our things always have to go to the.
So the way that, special permits, unless otherwise conditioned, run with the land.
Yeah.
They can be conditioned to expire on any number of things. So change of ownership could be a requirement. It could be a length of time. There's a number of ways that they can be conditioned. If it's not explicitly conditioned, then it runs with the land.
So if we wanna let it run with the land, we can.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, unless it says in there that,
No, I didn't see that in the DOT.
yeah, it would have been in one of the little, under 5.1.
Yeah, it's not
Oh, thanks, Mitch.
there. Okay. Does anyone have any other questions?
No, I'm just kidding myself.
We'll wait while Maggie writes conditions.
Or at least make sure that we don't, I mean, like, we've just talked about a lot of things, and I
Yeah.
just wanna make sure we don't forget any when we actually get to the end. I mean, I guess we could just more or less reference, but.
It is a very attractive house.
Oh, yes, it is. It's been
It's
really, it's
unique.
been kind of, yeah, it's been kind of an honor to be able to live in it, you know, because it is, you know, kind of, there's a feeling about it, you know, that it was built really well, a really well-built house, and I'm only the third owner.
You're kidding.
No.
When was it built?
It was built in 1881, and Dr. Cobb owned it, and he's in the historical, you know, they write up about him. And then he sold it to C.M. Fern, and the Ferns lived there for almost 65 years or something like that. And I bought it from his wife, and
I can understand the repair. My last house was in 1890.
so.
And it wasn't anywhere near as attractive as yours. It was an old farmhouse.
So, you know, there's like gas lines behind, and there's knob and whatever. But
It's
although
knob
I
and
like to
tube,
knob
I
and
used to
tube.
have knob and
Yeah,
tube.
knob and tube, and there's just all kinds of lovely things in the house.
Okay, are we ready to make a motion? Would Maggie like to make a
Sure,
motion?
I'll make the motion. So I move that we approve a special permit for the operation of a bed and breakfast, at 159 Main Street. And I propose that we condition the special permit on the following requirements. That there be, one room used, as part of the bed and breakfast. And that, no alterations are to be made to the exterior, and that we, I should have done findings first, sorry, that was, do the findings first. So, we find that, the use is not gonna require any alteration to the exterior. We find that there is sufficient parking to satisfy the section 10.1. Because there is parking in the back. And we also find that the special permit criteria, are not relevant, specifically that it conforms with all the laws, which is A, that there's no impact on, or no negative impact. If anything, it's a positive impact on the protection of city amenities. It brings people to downtown and it protects the historic nature of the building. Because it would only be one room, there's no traffic issues, impact that would be felt. Similarly, there's no waste issues, no wetlands would be affected, and there's no effect on city resources. And there's no off-street parking issues or other off-street issues, and no problems because of the nature of the use. H, I, J, K, and L are all not relevant to this special permit request. And then as far as conditions go, we would condition the special permit on there being only the one room used for the bed and breakfast use. And I feel like it's sensitive to the neighbor, but also in order to comply with the zoning requirements, we require that the parking space on the side be the first space used by any occupants. But that you also do need to make available parking in the back as opposed to the parking in the front, that's if it's within the 15-foot front setback. And I think that covers everything.
What about signage?
Oh, right, and that we would also, the special permit will also allow a signage as long as it complies with the signage requirements that are set forth.
Isn't that 2 square feet?
Yeah, I think it's 2 square feet. It will be no more than 2 square feet, it will not be lit, I believe is also the other, it can't be,
We've said it's in the ordinance, so.
yeah. I mean, it's basically, it's a residential accessory use sign.
Right.
So that is, the max area is actually, we're in downtown,
No, it's R5.
R5? Okay, so it doesn't actually really, it can only be up to 6 feet tall and you can only have it be like 1 square foot, so it's gonna be a fairly small sign. Sorry, I just wanna make sure there's not something on
Are you still in signs?
Yeah, we're still
There's home occupation. So they have to live there, they have to live at the house. I think the home occupation signs are 2 square feet.
2 square feet, yeah, home occupation signs, 2 square feet.
Oh, okay,
Page 1014.
that's what I was on, but I guess.
I would consider this a home occupation as
As opposed
opposed
to an accessory?
to an accessory use.
Sure. That's a really funny, because I think our definition of home occupation requires it that be like accessory to the residential use of the building. But we won't worry about that right now. But yes, okay, so and our special permit also will give you permission to have a home occupation sign that meets all the requirements, namely the 2 square feet, and it can't be any higher than 6 feet tall, and you can only have the one within a residential district.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
so the
Thank you.
way that the permits work, or like our special permits, is a decision will get written up and then it will get filed with Barbara in the clerk's office.
Mhm.
And then there's an appeal period,
Mhm.
and you, at your own risk, can begin doing the use within the appeals period, but you're like really in the clear once the appeals period is over, and I think it's a 20-day?
Yeah, so it's a 20-day appeal period once the decision is filed, and it usually takes about 2 weeks to write up the decision.
Mhm.
You'll get a copy of the decision
Mhm.
in the mail, as well as a notice saying when the appeal period ends.
Mhm.
And then it's your responsibility after the appeal period ends to get the official copy of the special permit and to file it at the registry of deeds.
So I file it.
You have to file it.
I have to
It
file
doesn't- The special permit is not officially valid and take effect until it's filed at the registry of deeds.
Where's the registry of deeds?
It's on King Street in Northampton.
Oh, yes, I know where it is, right across
Right.
from the city, Hotel Northampton,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, okay.
Near the
And so I
tower.
pick it up from,
The city clerk will have.
okay, all right.
And just on a pragmatic perspective, I would recommend that you do something to mark the parking spot that you want your guests to use, so that it's like really obvious to them which one, because people are really good at screwing up with where to park.
Mhm, okay.
It just seems to be the.
Well, you know, it's a lot easier when it's one car, because when I had a massage practice and when we had
Oh, yeah.
a frame business there, and it's really, yeah.
Right.
And I mean, you
Well,
just
and
say,
you
you
go
know, I
and-
mean, it's not, really, it's a piece of cake, do it.
But I feel like especially when people have been driving and maybe they haven't been sure where they're going, and then they get somewhere, they just like put their car wherever, and
Yeah.
then, but if you have.
Well,
like,
if we're both parked down back, and there's no other car up there,
Yeah, only one person.
you know, it's like, I would just say, if they were driving all day, I would just say, tomorrow when you get up, just park, you know, that parking will be, and, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, so, but yes, I will, and we have always been really sensitive, to Jerry in the back, 'cause he's been my neighbor since I moved in there, so. Well, I appreciate it very much, and now that you know that there's a B&B in town, new B&B, I hope you'll give us a call if you need a service. Thank you.
I would imagine there will be Williston families who will be very happy to have that.
Yeah, I know they can walk right over. Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, we have the solar array, does anyone?
Solar array was wonderful.
I just wish we didn't have the other, like the ban on solar, the big solar arrays. Don't we have like they can't be on like landfills or something, like didn't, like they
Well, that's a
just.
state thing, and
Oh,
that's
it's a
to do,
state
and
thing?
that's to do
Oh.
with public, use of public facilities and stuff like that, so it's not a.
I just want there to be one in the old landfill adjacent to me. Because it's just, okay. I think it's great.
If we have no more business, motion to adjourn?
Do you mind just writing,
Oh.
yeah, do you mind just writing no comment and signing it?
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Okay.
Okay. See everybody September 13th.
Yeah.
6:30.